Hey everyone, rudyxx here to talk about Shining Force 3, a game I recently played through for RPGalooza. What an experience Shining Force 3 was. It was one of those games that felt like I spent 100 hours playing it, when really it only took around 25 hours to complete. Despite hearing nothing but positives from people about this game as I played through it, I really couldn't find any positives myself. I mean, the game wasn't necessarily bad, but it wasn't great in any way either. If anything, it was more or less a subpar Fire Emblem or Langriser style war game with incredibly long animations for literally everything that caused the game to draw out needlessly. The story wasn't anything amazing either. It was a fairly generic story about two countries at war and both of them being manipulated by a greater evil. The story starts off in the middle of peace discussions that didn't really make any sense to me because they didn't really introduce the characters very well, and I wasn't sure who even mattered until several hours into the game. There was a lot of political garbage that I didn't particularly care for because I had no attachment to anyone to even care why war was even going on to begin with. Gameplay-wise, the game was pretty simple. Thankfully, they had a system in place that actually let you level up if you were struggling instead of making you bash your face against the wall if you accidentally lost someone important. Strategically speaking, there were some fairly interesting map layouts that were pretty fun to think through. The one thing that killed the desire to do the maps, though, was how long the fights ended up feeling like they took. A battle could have lasted 10 minutes, but I felt like I was in it for 10 hours because there were so many units on the field, and the animations for attacks took what felt like forever. I mean, many of them were pretty cool animations the first time I saw them, but a majority of them were so seizure-inducing that it was kind of annoying having to see them over and over and over again, and the length of them was just long enough that I could get up and go make a sandwich between turns. Everything both battle-wise and story-wise just dragged out for forever, and so I only played through Scenario 1 for RPGalooza. That was about all I could take. I'm sure the story picks up somewhere and gets amazing at some point, but I'll never reach that point because by the time I got to the final battle in Scenario 1, I was ready to just stop. I've always wondered why people would play through an RPG, get to the final boss, and just quit playing. It happens all too often to just be randomly by chance. After playing through Shining Force 3, I completely understand that feeling. While I managed to finish the battle, I definitely just felt like I didn't even want to bother with the game anymore. As I mentioned earlier, Shining Force 3 wasn't necessarily a bad game, it just wasn't my cup of tea. I just don't have the patience for a game like this. I'm giving the game a solid 2 out of 5 for RPGalooza for this reason. Like, I can understand why people like the game, but it was just a struggle for me most of the time, and I just wanted the entire experience to be over with. Thanks for watching, everyone, and if you'd like to see the games I play for RPGalooza live, feel free to check out my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/rudyxx. And until next time, have a great time gaming, everyone!